The southern Indian state of Kerala is often called God's own country, known for its tranquil backwaters, lush greenery, and high literacy rates. But in the coastal city of Kollam, a darker story unfolded, one that shattered the peace of a community and left two families searching for answers that may never come. This is the story of two promising young athletes whose dreams were cut short within the walls of an institution meant to nurture them. In October 2019, the sports world of Kerala was rocked by tragedy. Rithul, a 15-year-old state-level javelin thrower, was found dead. He had been a residential student at the Sai Water Sports Center in Kollam, an academy under the Sports Authority of India. His death was officially ruled a suicide. The community was stunned, but accepted the heartbreaking news. A young life full of potential had ended too soon. But just 4 months later, in February 2020, tragedy struck again at the very same institution. Abhijith, another 15-year-old athlete, this time a talented canoeist, was found dead in a similar manner. He was Ruth Hull's roommate. Two boys, both 15, both athletes at the same academy. Both roommates, both found dead in almost identical circumstances within 4 months. Suddenly, what looked like two separate tragedies began to look like something much more sinister. The word coincidence just didn't seem to fit. The families of Rethul and Abhijith refused to believe their sons had taken their own lives. They described their children as cheerful, ambitious, and full of life. They were dedicated athletes, focused on their training and excited about their future. The idea that they would suddenly end their lives without any warning seemed impossible. Both families pointed fingers at the academy, alleging that something was terribly wrong behind its closed doors. Let's look at the details. Rithul, the javelin thrower, was known for his strength and determination. His family said he had spoken to them just hours before his death and sounded perfectly normal. He was excited about an upcoming competition, and he was gone. The initial investigation concluded suicide, but his family always had doubts. They felt their concerns were brushed aside too quickly. Then came Abhijith's death. He was a rising star in canoeing, with dreams of representing India on the international stage. Like Rithul, his family insists he was happy and had no reason to harm himself. His death, mirroring Rithul's so closely, was the tipping point. It was too much to be a coincidence. The families began to speak out, demanding a deeper investigation. They believed their sons were victims of foul play, possibly bullied or harassed at the academy. The local police launched a probe, but the families felt it was inadequate. They suspected a cover-up to protect the reputation of the prestigious sports academy. The pressure mounted, with local media picking up the story. The eerie similarities between the two deaths were just too compelling to ignore. How could two healthy, happy teenage roommates both meet the same fate in the same place? This question led the families to demand an investigation by India's top federal agency, the Central Bureau of Investigation, or CBI. They believed only an independent and powerful agency could uncover the truth. They argued that the local police were either unable or unwilling to properly investigate the powerful sports institution. The family's allegations were serious. They spoke of a culture of fear and intense pressure within the academy. Were the boys being bullied by senior students? Was there pressure from coaches that went too far? These were the questions haunting them. They painted a picture of an environment where young athletes were pushed to their limits, not just physically, but mentally, and where seeking help was seen as a sign of weakness. The case took a significant turn when the Kerala High Court intervened. Recognizing the gravity of the situation and the unusual circumstances, the court ordered the CBI to take over the investigation in November 2022. This was a major victory for the families, a glimmer of hope in their long and painful fight for justice. The court noted that the uncanny similarities between the two deaths warranted a thorough and impartial probe. The CBI's investigation began, and they started re-examining everything from the beginning. They revisited the crime scenes, re-interviewed students, coaches, and staff at the academy. They looked into the boys' phones, their social media, and their daily routines. The goal was to find any clue, any anomaly that the initial police investigation might have missed. One of the key aspects the CBI focused on was the culture at the sports academy. These institutions are high-pressure environments. Young athletes are away from their families, living in a competitive setting where victory is everything. This can create a breeding ground for intense rivalries, jealousy, and bullying. The CBI explored whether Rethel and Abhijith were targets. Did they know something they shouldn't have? Or were they simply victims of a toxic environment that pushed them over the edge? The families also raised questions about the physical evidence. They felt the initial autopsies were not conducted thoroughly enough. They wondered if there were signs of a struggle or other injuries that were overlooked. The CBI's involvement meant that all this evidence would be looked at with fresh eyes, free from any potential local influence. As the CBI investigation progressed, whispers and rumors continued to circulate. Some students reportedly spoke of a strict and sometimes harsh disciplinary regime at the academy. Others mentioned cliques and rivalries that could sometimes turn ugly. But getting concrete, on-the-record statements proved difficult. Many were afraid to speak out, fearing it could jeopardize their own athletic careers. This fear of speaking up is a common thread in similar cases involving closed institutions. The students' entire future is tied to the academy. Their dreams of becoming professional athletes, of winning medals for their country, all depend on staying in the good graces of the administration and coaches. This creates a powerful incentive for silence, even when they witness something wrong. The story of Rethul and Abhijith is a chilling reminder of the vulnerabilities of young athletes in high-stakes environments. These academies are meant to be places of growth and opportunity, but they can also become places of immense pressure and hidden dangers. The intense focus on physical performance often overshadows the mental and emotional well-being of these young individuals. As of today, the CBI's investigation is still ongoing. The families of Rethul and Abhijith are still waiting for definitive answers. They continue their fight, not just for their sons, but for all the other young athletes in similar institutions. They want to ensure that what happened to Rethel and Abhijith never happens to another child. Their quest for justice highlights a crucial issue: the need for better oversight and mental health support in sports academies. The well-being of young athletes must be the top priority, placed above medals and records. There needs to be a system where students can report bullying or harassment without fear of reprisal. There needs to be accessible mental health counseling to help them cope with the immense pressure they face. The deaths of these two boys in Kollam are a tragedy that should serve as a wake-up call. It's a story about the loss of two bright futures, the unending grief of two families, and the lingering questions that haunt a community. Will the CBI be able to unravel the mystery? Will the families ever find the closure they so desperately seek? We can only hope that the investigation will bring the truth to light, whatever that truth may be, whether it was a failure of the system, an act of malice, or a combination of factors. Justice for Rethul and Abhijith means finding out what really happened within the walls of that academy. Their story is a powerful plea to protect the young dreamers we entrust to these institutions, to ensure that the pursuit of glory never comes at the cost of a life. Thank you for watching. If you have any information that could help with this or any other case, please contact the relevant authorities. And if you or someone you know is struggling, please know that help is available. We'll leave some resources in the description below. So follow our channel for more deep dives into cases that deserve to be heard.